This is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Trust me, I'm like a smart person. I'm very consistent. I'm a very stable genius. I had the best words, tolerated. I know words. Mike Pounds. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation. But there's no better word than stupid. Anonymous, really anonymous. I'm very highly educated. One of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. Had the best words. God bless the United States.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Can't let that happen.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Around the Nation right here. Waldorf Nation. All right, so it's Monday. I'm sorry, it's Monday for me. It's more of actually Tuesday. I know. Having to take the day yesterday, a little confusing. I'm a little confused. But it's okay. It's okay. There's a lot of things that I'm not confused about. And that, of course, is the fact that Donald Trump has been arrested. Fun. All right. So anyway, fun for us, not for him. All right. So that literally just happened. So we're going to talk about all sorts of different things in relation to that, including, what some of the others Trump allies are actually saying, including Carrie Lake, who apparently does not understand math. We have Kevin McCarthy having a pretty crappy defense of the former president. Of course, we're going to be talking about that.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
Fun. And so we've got that. It's going to be, it's going to be interesting. We have Donald Trump versus his, I guess not his lawyers, because he can't seem to find any new ones. Fun. We have, of course, more serious side of this. We have gender criticals attacking a 9-year-old, a literal child, and Matt Gaetz makes an admission about the Biden investigations. Yes, the Biden investigations. They're going to take a while, and it's going to involve a lot of trips, a lot of fun stuff for us. So we're going to get into all of that today. It's a fun story and a fun day. So why don't we do it? Why don't we dive in? And we'll start out with, of course, Carrie Lake. Victimized by math. I mean, what are you going to do? Not fun. Not fun. Loser Carrie Lake is getting mocked for her use of some alternative math.
Lay a finger on our President Trump, they're going to have to come through me. And I made a mistake. I said 75 million others just like me. I think it's more like 300 million others just like me.
Wow. They're okay. 300 million just like me. There's no way she could be that stupid, right? I mean, there's no way. there's no way. Maybe there is. I don't know. Okay, so let's get into the numbers. Okay, the U.S. population is around 334 million people. For 300 million to be on Donald Trump's side, I mean, you'd have to have about 9 in 10 Americans protesting Trump's arrest. That is clearly not happening. Now, the closest thing I can find is from a Reuters Ipsos poll taken the day the charges were unsealed that did show that 81% of self-identified Republicans claim these charges are entirely political. The politicization of the weapon of the Justice Department, the weaponization. So we believe in all that stuff, even though we can't actually prove that it's a politicization or weaponization. It's Espionage Act charges, fairly serious things. Now, as for again, that's Republicans. That's not entirely surprising. Okay, but for Democrats, roughly 9 in 10 Democrats surveyed say that Trump illegally kept classified documents when he left the White House. And it seems to be the consensus here from lawyers, law enforcement officials, and, all that stuff. Just saying. Justice Department. For what she says to be true, you would need a vast majority of Democrats, independents, obviously Republicans, and people not involved in politics whatsoever, including children coming to defend Donald Trump. I don't think that is. I don't think that's the case. Utter lunacy. No wonder Carrie Lake thinks that she won Arizona. She does not math. So social media had some fun reaction. I'm going to read a few here. Jim Cassidy says Carrie doesn't do math. There's 330 million in the U.S. and the grumpy one got. I like how that's like one of the nicer names that Donald Trump has been called by the left. Grumpy one. Oh, okay. Oh, sure. That seems more like a grandpa-ish kind of name. But anyway, 74 million votes in 2020, but they're not all supporting him now. Okay. Carrie won't show up because she doesn't want to go to prison like the J6 folks. Carrie wants other folks to go to prison. Of course, talking about some of the protests that were planned here today, which didn't necessarily pan out. And I've got another segment on that. Another social media user says, Carrie Lake's claim is as realistic as spotting a unicorn prancing down Main Street. It's a statement that's bold, audacious, a little bit, and a little more than entertaining, but it takes more than a generous sprinkling of wishful thinking to make it true. Yes. Very much wishful thinking, and perhaps a little bit of help from...
I'm sick of all these witches and warlocks.
Well, the witches and warlocks, but apparently Alex Jones, rather sick of them. Okay. So, I mean, there's that. I'd be sick of them too. Michigan GOP Watch says they were real. Okay. Carrie Lake couldn't get a majority in Arizona to vote for, and she'll get 300 million Americans to follow into civil war. This woman is bonkers. True. Very, very true. Okay. Let's get another one here. 800 million Americans are laughing at you. See what you did there. And then one of the funnest ones comes from conservative Eric Erickson. Yes. Saying, I admire Carrie Lake so much. Wait for the reason. If I was as full of crap as she is all the time, I'd look way more constipated than she does. And I think we'll leave it at that.
They call them dumps, big, massive dumps.
True. Okay. Speaking of dumps, we're just going to flow right into the next story here. Jesus. I'm already getting started with that, apparently. Okay. Now that the 37-count indictment against former President Donald Trump has been unsealed in the case against him. There are pictures that have come out. Pictures, fun pictures, interesting pictures. For example, like this. That appears to be Donald Trump's bathroom. At least a picture from April of 2021. Interesting. Apparently, there's nothing like keeping sensitive government documents right next to the old crapper. Now, it's even deeper, more fun, since we know Donald Trump has this proclivity of flushing important documents down the toilet. I mean, that's I don't really know what else I can say about that.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
Oh, is that why? Oh, right. Okay. Now, that said, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, well, you see, he's got a different idea here. Sort of a way to wipe away the controversy, so to speak. Let's get to that.
Was that a good look for the former president to have boxes in a bathroom?
I don't know. Is it a good picture to have boxes in a garage that opens up all the time? A bathroom door locks.
Oh, so let's see. Bathroom door locks. You know, I got a question for Kevin McCarthy. What kind of bathroom door locks and unlocks from the outside? Does that make any sense? Is that, I mean, that's not how bathroom doors work. I don't quite understand why you thought that was a good defense. I mean, now that said, garage doors. Well, I mean, garage doors, once again, lock from the inside to prevent people from the outside getting into them. Unless, of course, you have the remote and you unlock it from the outside so you can drive your car into it. So, but at the same time, okay, garage doors work generally so that people who are authorized to get in them can, and people who are not authorized to get into them cannot. Effing doors. How do they work? Apparently, Kevin McCarthy doesn't know. Doesn't quite understand. Okay, dumb defenses made by smart people pretending to be dumb people on behalf of the dumbest person of all. That's what happened here, okay? And I say that because this entire thing is dumb. It should have never happened. This is a crime that Trump had a million ways to not do, to avoid. Okay? And that's it. That's it. Had he not been a moron, he could have avoided all of this. Charges, everything. Now, take Biden, for example. Okay, so he says, well, leaving documents in the garage. You know what I'm saying? Just open it right up. Yeah, only if you have the remote. Okay? Or, don't have a garage that locks. Some people don't have a garage that locks, but a lot of them do, to be fair. Now, McCarthy, in his example, though, he left out a very important difference between Biden, Pence, and Donald Trump. All who possess classified documents. Okay, so now in the case of Biden and Pence, when they were asked to return the documents, they did one crucial thing. They said okay and returned the documents. That's it. By the way, even law enforcement was invited to come and search the premises. Did Donald Trump do that? No, he did not. He did not invite law enforcement. They got a warrant. They did a search of the premises. They found material, even though he had his lawyers sign off on affidavits saying that they had returned everything. They didn't have any more documents, even though there's, again, evidence that he did not, that he knew that he did not return everything, and also that he had sought to prevent returning everything. That's the real difference here, okay? It's the difference. It was that easy to avoid all of this. But what we come down to here is the fact that Trump did not want to return the documents because, it would have been so easy to avoid everything had he returned the documents, but there was a reason that he didn't want to return the documents. He wanted to keep them. He thought they were his. According to the indictment, Trump showed the documents to people who did not have proper security clearance on at least 2 occasions, which potentially put U.S. national security at risk. Those documents contain secrets on defense and weapons capabilities of both the United States and foreign countries, as well as on U.S. nuclear programs. Trump even bragged about having secret classified documents concerning a plan to attack Iran. Think about that. Okay? Yeah. So, but there's more. Talking about stupid defenses, we're going to go to the next one here. This comes from Republican Representative Byron Donald.
You guys are throwing up the pictures about they were in a bathroom or they were on a stage. As somebody who's been to Mar-a-Lago, you just can't walk through Mar-a-Lago of your own accord because Secret Service is all over the place. So if the documents are in a place, they're in a room, depending on the time of year, you can't even get into said room. There are 33 bathrooms at Mar-a-Lago. So don't act like it's just in some random bathroom that the guests can go into. That's not true.
Oh, see, Brandos can't go to the bathroom. Really? I have reason to believe that some of the security measures at Mar-a-Lago were a bit lax. You know, when people that were not supposed to be there had gotten into the club and eventually got kicked out. Come on. Okay. Now look, that's also, by the way, not the point. These were not his documents to keep. He did not declassify them. It's simple. And look, the bigger point is, you know how pretty much any other random person who possessed classified documents, they would be in prison for this. Now, that said, not presidents, obviously, because they have so much leeway. You have to understand they can get away with pretty much everything. But that said, when you get to Donald Trump, you have to understand this one thing. If you give him an inch, he's going to take 100 miles. And unfortunately for him, that might actually end up catching up to him in a bad way. Okay. Moving on. When you're trying to defend a bathroom being a normal place to hide secret documents instead of a safe. Okay. More fun stuff. Former President Donald Trump seems to be having some issues when it comes to retaining legal help. So today, Donald Trump appeared in court. He pleaded not guilty to 37 charges, 31 of them Espionage Act, all related to the Mar-a-Lago documents. And he showed up with 2 of his existing lawyers after struggling and failing to find a local Florida lawyer who would be willing to join his defense team. So now you might think, wait a minute, why would it be important to find a local lawyer? Well, local lawyers tend to know the magistrates, know the judges, prosecutors, defense teams, all that stuff. All these different connections might help in some way, maybe to reduce some sentences or make a better case, or, you'd be surprised how well personal, acquaintances can can help make your case. Let's just say that. But he can't find anybody. No one in Florida seems to want to jump into that one. Now, again, he was arraigned Tuesday afternoon with former federal prosecutor Todd Blanche and former Florida Solicitor General Chris Kise, and his co-defendant and valet Walt Nuada will be represented by attorney Stanley Woodward, reported The Guardian. Again, he's facing 37 charges, 31 of them under the Espionage Act, and it's possible that if he's convicted, he could face the rest of his life in prison. Trump and his legal team had spent all Monday interviewing potential lawyers at the Trump Doral Resort, but did not bring on any additional defense attorneys before the 3 p.m. court appearance. No national security specialists who would be eligible to obtain a security clearance appeared to be willing to sign on to be a part of Trump's legal team, and he was turned down by attorneys Howard Srebnick, David Marcus, Benedict Kuhn, William Barzee, and Bruce Zimet. And this just compounds his issues with finding legal representation. 2 of his lawyers on Friday left. Gone. Outie. Not a good sign when you cannot seem to find a lawyer that is willing to represent you, especially in such a gigantic case. I wonder if that has something to do with Donald Trump burning the bridges between his previous legal teams. Maybe it has something to do with his history of non-payment. For example, one of his lawyers was Rudy Giuliani. Now disbarred, at least in New York City. Giuliani associate Maria Ryan reportedly pleaded in a letter intended for Trump to please pay him. She had submitted a bill for $2.5 million to then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows for Giuliani's services. According to journalist Andrew Kurtzman, that letter was intercepted before it reached Trump. Another pro-Trump lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, told Business Insider last year that most reputable law firms, and this is not somebody who is all that reputable himself, nonetheless, he said that they are fearful that a relationship with Trump will now scare off other businesses. Quote, the firms won't let them go near any case involving Trump. These are firms that want to continue to have clients, and they know that if they represent Donald Trump, they'll lose a lot of clients. Journalist Maggie Haberman also noted that Trump is himself a difficult client. Quote, he doesn't like to listen to his lawyers. The fact that it takes a huge effort to get him to do so by his lawyers, always. One attorney told Insider that Trump likes to run the show, and as the old saying goes, if you represent yourself, you've got a fool for a client. He added that Trump is a big believer in the public relations assault, which I've never seen work. And look, we know that that's exactly what he's doing. In fact, he's now, this morning, accused the DOJ and Jack Smith of planting documents at Mar-a-Lago. Quote, this is on his favorite platform, Truth Social. This is the thug, overturned consistently and unanimously in big cases. The Biden's corrupt Justice Department stuck on me. He's a radical right lunatic and Trump hater. Wait, radical right? That doesn't make any sense. It's got to be a typo. As are all his friends and family who probably planted information in the boxes given to them. They taint everything that they touch, including our country, which is rapidly going to hell. Ah, yes. It's always a good strategy to attack the people that are pushing a case against you. You know, involving obstruction. Another smart move. I'm sure your legal team, as it stands, absolutely loves it. Again, I am surprised that his lawyers, I'm surprised that he even has them. Are they from the firm Clown and Shoes? I just don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Of course, look, Donald Trump deserves representation, as do all of us. That's constitutionally protected. I'm just surprised that he's not down to a public defender yet. No shade to public defenders, by the way. I'm just saying that at some point, you would run out of people who are qualified to work for you. That said, to be fair, there's a lot of right wingers who would jump at the chance. And yes, some of them happen to be lawyers. I know. Weird. But at the end of the day, I can see why there's a lot of them that are not interested in taking on this case because, I mean, I'm not a law expert, to be fair, but I'm just not sure how they're going to get out of this one. I guess we'll have to see. Guess we'll have to see. Okay. Murphy's Law Office. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Let's move on. Prior to former President Donald Trump's arrest and arraignment earlier today, law enforcement agencies and extremism researchers were closely monitoring for online threats and escalating rhetoric in the days prior to Trump's arraignment. This is, of course, all over holding classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. So now on True Social, Trump, this was on June 9th, wrote, "See you in Miami on Tuesday. Our country has to protest." That was on Roger Stone's show on June 11th. He also shared a meme with a caption reading, "This is not a game, this is war." And so, again, nonstop posting earlier this morning. It was, accusing Jack Smith and the DOJ of planting evidence at Mar-a-Lago. And look, again, we can just consider this the rantings of a lunatic. But unfortunately, those rantings are broadcast and heard for a lot of people. A lot of people. And it's not just Trump, but it's also pro-Trump politicians that have been weighing in as well. In fact, here's Republican Representative Andy Biggs of Arizona on his official congressional Twitter account saying, quote, "We have now reached a war phase. Eye for an eye." Now, later on, of course, backpedal, of course. He said that his comment was a call for congressional Republicans to use procedural tools to counter the left's weaponization of our federal law enforcement apparatus. Oh, no. Well, I mean, it's war. We've reached a war phase. Eye for an eye. Oh, I just mean procedurally, of course. We need to bring similar proceedings, criminal proceedings against President Joe Biden, perhaps, because we've got this weaponization and all that. I don't actually have violence. No, I don't mean violence at all. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay, loud and clear. There's more. Republican U.S. Representative Clay Higgins of Louisiana also posted this message on Twitter saying, quote, "This is a perimeter probe from the oppressors. Hold. Our POTUS has this." This was on June 9th. Our POTUS is, again, online shorthand for real president of the United States. The real president. Oh, yes, of course. Okay. He continued by saying, "Buckle up, 150K, know your bridges. Rock steady calm, that is all." Weirdo. Now, the following day, of course, he backpedaled on this and said, "Let Trump handle Trump. He's got this. We use the Constitution as our only weapon. Peace. Hold." And then added, "Patriots. We've manipulated the MSM to establish deep commo. Now copy this. Do not trip the wire they've laid for you. Maintain your family. Live your life. Know your bridges. Hold." I can't stand that this man writes this way. Very, very strange stuff. Very weird. But look, the message was received, by the way. And what was that message? I mean, possible violence? I don't know. But what's disturbing here is it was laid out by extremism researcher Carolyn Orr. She said that, quote, the involvement of members of Congress, prominent political figures, and Trump himself in promoting, inciting, and even hinting at violence is a risk factor for acts of political violence. And so that's what we're worried about. Okay, we're worried about this rhetoric that we're seeing online. Let me give you an example here. Pro-Trump message board Patriots.win, which is formerly the Donald, supporters have declared war and said protests could make Waco look like a tea party. Waco, of course, ended with fire and death, blood. Not good. That's not good. If you're saying that that's going to make that look like a tea party, you should take that seriously. Adding that, quote, this is what the Second Amendment was made for. Here's one comment. Quote, I used to laugh when my mom said that she was afraid if she registered Republican, she may be arrested one day. I'm not laughing anymore. Just buying more ammo. Wait. You're not getting arrested for being a Republican. You're being arrested for actually doing crime. Don't do the crimes, and you won't get in trouble. That's it. That's it. I mean, this is not difficult. If Donald Trump was not doing crimes, okay, alleged crimes, obstruction, holding on to classified documents that he knows he did not declassify, then we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this problem. This, and by the way, the Trump administration is also the administration that made this a felony in the first place. Oops. Possibly brought down by his own law. How ironic. But getting back to how dangerous, though, some of this is. Again, I'm not laughing anymore. Just buying ammo. For what? For what? And that's the real scary part. Okay. And you also had on Telegram a Florida chapter of the Proud Boys calling on supporters to rally outside the federal courthouse to bring banners supporting Trump. That didn't happen. And actually, let's get to what happened, right? So now law enforcement was aware of the messages beforehand, and there was an advisory put out, and it considered a wide range of potential threats, including some from violent extremist messaging and online calls for violence, motivated by perceptions of the 2024 general election cycle and legislative or judicial decisions pertaining to socio-political issues. Potential targets could have included critical infrastructure, faith-based institutions, individuals or events associated with the LGBTQIA+ communities, schools, racial and ethnic minorities, and government facilities and personnel. We're prepared for anything, but we're hoping there won't be any trouble. One FPS officer who asked not to be identified had told The Independent. So now there wasn't any violence, and that's good. Now, the reality of what happened is actually a bit weirder. Yeah. There's no protest that the right will not make weird. Just saying. But hey, you know what? The good news, no violence. Hey, all right. Take your W's where you can, right? That said, according to the people on the ground, there weren't a whole lot of pro-Trump people that were actually there. In fact, somewhere, I'm hearing around 200, if that, again, unconfirmed. But like, there was one issue here, according to reports of a brief security alert when they found a suspicious device. Journalists were asked to clear out of the area. Police moved in, and they found a television monitor with an anti-media slogan. So that was apparently planted there by Trump, pals. Okay. More than a dozen African-American demonstrators were part of the Blacks for Trump group. They were there. There were some protesters scattered around the courthouse. but they weren't gathered as a single unit. And so here's the thing, right? The violent ones, of course, are not going to show up. And by the way, normie Trump supporters, I know if there's such a thing, right? The ones who are more like a little bit more casual, yeah, they believe in the conspiracy theories and they'll like what he has to say and go to a rally or two. But they're not the ones that are going to go and, like do a coup for Trump. They're like, no, we're not going to do that. Well, I like what he likes to say, or I like what he has to say, and I like that he's racist, and I'm kind of racist too, but I'm not interested in going to jail or violence or anything like that. Those are the ones that are like, I'm not going to show up to this. No, it's this. I guess there's some of them that are convinced that this was like a honeypot or some sort of trap or, what have you, right? And it's not just them, but also I think some of the more violent ones would also believe the same thing. They're not going to show up to a courthouse where they know that the cops were preparing and waiting. And so the important thing to remember here is that just because there wasn't violence here, it doesn't mean people should let down their guard. The idea that there's going to be another January 6th is no, I don't believe that there's going to be another January 6th like event. That was, again, an unmitigated failure when it comes to MAGA and their aims, their goals, right? So what I see going forward now, and again, I know like police and commentators on the left that are like, hey, January 6th, it could happen again. It may happen again. We got to watch out for that. Again, I don't think that's what they're going to do now from now on. If there is to be any further violence, and I hope there isn't, by the way, it would most likely be either lone wolf or some sort of militia-based violence, things like that. Okay. I don't think we're going to ever see another January 6th, at least, when it comes to Trump supporters. And I hope I'm right about that. But, the capability or possibility that there is, lone wolves that might carry out some sort of violence or, defacing or, vandalism, etc. That is a much bigger possibility. And so that's my guess. I mean, yeah, the guy with the pig head, kind of a weirdo, all right? Kind of a wacko. But at the end of the day, he's not going to be the guy you need to watch out for. Okay. I really like the guy in the black and white jail suit. Oh, yeah, I remember that guy. Moving on, let's get to the next story here. Kind of switching it up a little bit. A Canadian, this is such a weird story because we're dealing with Canadians, and I'm not used to Canadians being weird like this. But it does happen. It does happen. Okay. A 9-year-old girl was accosted by a couple of gender-critical people at a track meet because they thought that this little girl was trans. So now this comes from two Canadian moms who say that their 9-year-old daughter was competing in a shot put final at a track and field event. Now, the grandfather of one of the other participants started yelling at her, according to Castanet. So now here's what Heidi Starr, one of the parents, had said, quote, "She went to step up to compete for the grade 4 shot put final, and right before she went to throw, a grandfather of a student said, 'Hey, this is supposed to be a girls' event. Why are you letting boys compete? What are you talking about? She says, quote, my daughter is a cisgender, born female, uses she, her pronouns. She has a pixie haircut. What? Well, I mean, obviously, I think I know what the problem is. Weirdo gender critical people. That's the problem. Found the problem. But it gets worse, by the way. This man also pointed at another girl who had short hair and said, well, if she's not a boy, then she is obviously trans. Starr said, adding the man's wife then started calling her a genital mutilator, groomer, and a pedophile. Remember, we're talking about children here. These are 9 and 10-year-olds. Okay, prepubescent girls. Why are you talking about that? Why are you openly? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? What is wrong with you people? These people seem to be really concerned about children and their genitals. Again, this is something that normal people do not spend any time thinking about. But these weirdos, again, they call themselves gender critical. In reality, they sound more like the PP police. Like what do you want to do? Like, you want to inspect you want to inspect little girls' genitals to make sure that they don't have a PP? Is that it's so that they can actually compete in the sport? Seems like that's what you want. It seems like they're obsessed with trans people and see them absolutely everywhere. Oh, little girl with short hair? Oh, no, yeah, obviously must be transgender. We must have genital checks. No, how about not? How about let children be children? And of course, instantly I know where this comes from. They get it from people like Tim Pool, The Quartering, Matt Walsh, J.K. Rowling, Jordan Peterson. The list goes on, but you get the point. These people are out there all spewing crap about the LGBTQIA plus community, and they accuse them of being groomers and pedophiles, while they actually ignore the real predators, the churches. That's the real problem. Churches, or I should say any large institution of power, to be fair. Now, look, again, they're targeting trans girls, trans youth. And, of course, when they do that, it increases the rate of suicidal ideation among them. But also, like in this case, cisgender girls that are assigned female at birth are being attacked too. For what? Having short hair? Again, we're talking about a 9-year-old prepubescent child. Okay? Why? Why are you doing this? Didn't you want kids to be kids? Apparently not. Apparently not. Now, look, after this incident, Central Okanagan School District Superintendent Kevin Cardle said he's working to have this man banned from all school-related events. But the issue here is that the damage to this, young girl is already done. After the incident here, the girl's mother, the other one said, quote, this has destroyed our beautiful daughter's confidence, and she was inconsolably crying during this whole event and continued once it was over and when we were leaving. Not to mention she was unable to concentrate on her track and field finals and the shot put throw for which she had qualified. Hey, well done. Way to go. Attacking little girls for not being girly enough? Understand that this is the state of the gender critical movement. Understand that it's never been about protecting children. No, it's been a way of weaponizing against the LGBTQI community, attacking others, and specifically harming children. This shit didn't exist in Canada before Trump came along. I mean, you might want to talk to Lance at the Surfs. Apparently, Canada's been not the greatest country. And again, this is coming from an American who also does not have the greatest country. So let's be fair and not get weirdo nationalistic. Okay. All right. Last story here. Idiots are everywhere. This is true. This is very true. Representative Matt Gaetz admitted on Tuesday that he only has an allegation against President Biden being part of a massive pay-to-play scheme involving foreign governments. And he wanted to stress the it's only an allegation part on Steve Bannon's podcast. Take a look.
Debriefed the actual whistleblower that we're talking about.
Yes, I have, and I found the claims credible, but I want to be very clear about something. Even what's on a 1023 is an allegation, and the important work ahead is not to reflexively lurch into some sort of legislative procedural posture. It is to track down the bank records. It is to look for these 17 audio recordings that I knew were alleged to have existed several months ago, but not all this stuff's in the United States, is in my belief, and so there's going to have to be some very serious work. We may have to take some foreign trips to go and hustle it up.
Hustle it up. Good phrasing on that. Yes, it's going to be some very serious work chasing down these allegations. We're going to have to go take some fancy, taxpayer-funded trips to other countries. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be like a little bit of a vacation, are we still, oh, shit. We're still alive? No, okay. So their so-called serious work is very likely going to take them all the way into the 2024 elections and perhaps beyond, depending on the outcome, and then end with an unceremonious whimper, just like the hearings about Benghazi. Remember Benghazi? Yeah, we all remember Benghazi. Okay, so now look, he says, well, I mean, we've got a whistleblower though, right? There's FBI whistleblowers. There's whistleblowers everywhere. They're blowing the whistles. Well, the 1023 that he says he found credible, again, is an FBI document that is used to record raw, unverified reporting from confidential human sources. Okay, this is according to the Society of Former Special Agents. Now, what does that mean? It just means they're taking a record of allegations. There's really nothing official other than this person made an allegation. Oh, okay. So now, from what I understand, is that there's all of this like hoopla, and they're making a big deal about Biden family members getting money from foreign sources, right? Foreign sources could be foreign governments. $5 million pay to play scheme. $5 million seems like a really low. Am I sure that that's correct? Isn't it like $5 billion? I don't know. Okay, so so members of the Biden family allegedly got lots of money. Okay. Jared and Ivanka Kushner also got a lot of money from foreign sources. Your point being, is there any shred of evidence that exists that Biden personally received any kind of money from these foreign dealings that his family members had gotten money from? And what's most important to that is, did the Biden administration change any of the foreign policy in order to reward this money? I don't see anything on that. I don't see any evidence there. Again, if the Chinese sent Hunter Biden a bunch of money and some of it got into Joe's account, and then Biden ended up giving the Chinese something that they wanted before that he wasn't already going to give them, that'd be a clear case of maybe we should look into that. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? But again, I don't see any sort of evidence of anything like that. What it seems to be, to me, is wild allegations. And an admission basically that Republicans will continue to run never-ending political investigations so that they don't actually have to do anything for their base. They don't actually have to do anything for the people that elected them into power. Because again, if they actually try to do something, well, that's going to irritate their donors, the people that actually pay them, the people that actually own them, and direct them on what to do when it comes to actual policy positions. When it comes to the military-industrial complex, which orders them to dump more and more money. And by the way, Democrats do the same thing, dump more and more money into the Pentagon, into defense spending. These same donors tell Republicans, make sure to try to cut food stamps, make sure to try to cut Medicaid, make sure to try to cut our taxes. That's what we really want. So, this red meat, this works really, really well when it comes to the Republican base, the people that Matt Gaetz is talking to, tune into Steve Bannon's war room. They love this stuff. They eat it up. Oh, Biden corruption. Oh, yeah. Just give me more of that. Give me more of the Hunter Biden laptop. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see those illicit pictures of Hunter Biden that are on that laptop. Show us the dong. Show us the dong. But none of it has anything to do with policy. None of it also has anything to do with the fact that, by the way, we are being screwed by the government. And that's one thing the right actually gets correct. We are being screwed by the government. And the fact that the government won't provide health care to every single person. That the government can't guarantee child care for every single family, every single adult who has children, who has dependents. And would allow them to go into work, that people are not getting paid enough for some of the jobs, a lot of the jobs that they're doing when it comes to inflation, that corporations seem to be getting every single thing that they want in every single budget negotiation. And we, the American taxpayer, are getting absolutely nothing. And yet the right wing is convinced that the real corruption involves in Biden taking imaginary money from the Chinese, when in reality, Walmart and other giant corporations, the telecom industry, they've given Biden and Democrats and Republicans way more, way more. Oil companies, way more to Republicans. You want to talk about the system being corrupt? You're right. It is corrupt. But not in the way that the right seems to see it. In the very obvious way that we have money in politics that has corrupted everything, that you have corporate control of the media and of the government through donations. That's where the real corruption is. Is Gaetz ever going to talk about that? No. We can hardly get progressives that are in office to talk about that. I love Bernie Sanders, and he does talk about that sometimes, but you know what? Should talk about that a lot more. AOC should talk about that a lot more. We need to hear more about, hey, this is what the corruption is going on. And it is money in politics. It is big donations from corporations going into the campaigns of every single politician. And that it has to stop, because you are never going to get any of the policies that you want. You're going to get nonstop investigations, and you're going to get nonstop Democrats, unfortunately, in all of these different negotiations, giving up pretty much all of their position, all of their leverage to Republicans who are, again, looking to cut benefits in any way they can from you and your family in order to benefit their donors. That's what's going on here. No one will say anything, especially not people like Matt Gaetz. Just more, we're going to do an investigation and we're going to waste more of your money chasing down these non-existent leads. Well, good luck with that. Actually, I hope you don't have good luck with that. I hope you continue to get clowned on and embarrassed and end up dropping this whole thing or get booted out of power, because you're doing absolutely nothing for the average working person. There, am I pretty clear? Should be pretty clear. Okay. Jeez, that got angry fast. All right, that's all I got for the stories here. Let's read some super chats here. Member comments. Okay, so let's go to our super chat section over on our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/Waldorf Nation, by the way. Boulder Crypto Sissy Dragon with a very kind $10 says, I'm going to open a business selling chocolate scented black pen candles. Oh, not pen candles. I just saw the other thing. Okay. Let's see. Gabby Mathis with a very kind $20 saying, dang, they won't let me donate memberships. And then Gabby Mathis donated 5 gifted memberships. So thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. And thank you for being a member as well. And the very kind $5 saying, had to renew my membership. Even if I've been watching for years, dang YouTube. Yes. Apparently I made somebody mad. I don't know who, I don't know why, but I made someone mad saying something. So that's pretty much normal. If I haven't made someone mad, then I haven't been on today, and I don't know what it's for. But that's, again, pretty normal. Pretty normal for me. Let's see. Okay. We're reading more comments here. Our government is an onion of corruption. They just want average Americans for a life of servitude and to pay taxes while they thrive and live a life in luxury. True. Corruption is worldwide, not just here. Also true, yes. But I tend to, focus in on U.S. politics because it's what I know best. Let's see. NAFTA gave China our middle class jobs since the 1990s. Let's see. There's a branch of evangelicals teach that our words control our reality, that Paula White is one of those. Oh, yeah, Paula White. The crazy lady. Let's see. I'm surprised he didn't plead Hunter or Hillary. Just wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Okay. That's the difference. We have the evidence first. True. Okay. So let's see. Closed-minded idiots are everywhere and lack critical thinking and self-awareness, so they feel the need to try and impose their nonsense on the rest of us. An eye for an eye investigation. If Trump did it, Biden must have as well. Sounds like a job for Rudy. Rudy! Where are you, Rudy? Allegations are free. You can make any claim you want to muddy the waters and distract from the crimes of your people. It's the Republican playbook. Yeah, it's one of those things where for that allegation, the 1023, I could go to the FBI and be like, I have it on good evidence that I believe Matt Gaetz is a reptile in a skin suit. I have seen the skin suit. It does not look natural, especially when you look at the hair. Okay. So I want to log this official complaint that he is a lizard person and is, can I put that in? Then that would be put into a 1023, probably after the FBI agents laugh in my face, but I could do it. It's one of those things that doesn't make any sense. So it's a nothing burger, as Cindy says. MAGAism has spread to Canada. Yeah, and look, in Canada, I think there's there is this effect that does go to other places in America, and it's because when it happens here, it spreads to the United States, or from the United States to other countries. And Canada usually tends to be a little bit, further down the road, down the pipe, where this stuff shit tends to flow from America. Let's just say that, okay? And so there are issues with the Canadian government, though. There are a lot of weirdo right-wingers that are in the Canadian government, and that's what I mean. That's probably why some people are irritated at me today. Prime Minister is a bit of a neoliberal, and so it's not like we haven't had presidents, that are pretty neoliberal. We've got one ourselves in Biden, Trudeau, and so there's weird things going on in Canada, and there, especially since if you've seen the discussions on what has happened to the Indigenous people in Canada, and also some of the weird right-wing movements. Remember the Canadian truckers? That was a big thing that had happened as well, that we had talked about. And so my overall point is, obviously, there's not going to be a perfect place. Now, when you compare Canada to the United States, obviously Canada looks a lot more sane, but it's got its issues and it's got its weirdos as well. After all, where do you think Ted Cruz came from? Came from Canada. Canada already had the Fords before Trump made things worse. Yeah. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. That's all that I have time for here. I saw another super here. Okay. Canada's polite with their extremism. There you go. Okay. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. And we will see you all later. We'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place, as usual. Love you all. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you later.
Clean coal, meaning they're taking out coal, they're going to clean it.